Today I've created particle effects for my project Chronos Zero. And so my project is Chronos Zero. It's a stealth to action game where the player infiltrates an AI research facility to steal its central data core. And the moment the data core is extracted, a 60-second self-destruct timer begins and the facility enters a lockdown. So in this case, the game shifts from a quiet infiltration to an escape scenario, and this is where my particle effect acts. And basically, I've used Unreal Engine for this particle effects, and I've created it using Unreal Engine's Niagara. And so these are the two particle effects that I've created. One is the data core vortex, and the other one is the emergency lockdown sparks. So you can see here in this data core vortex, I'll just show you walkthrough now. So yeah, so you can see the particles turn from the cyan to there's a core burst here. Show you again. So there's a core burst here in my data core vortex. So this burst shifts from cyan to cyan. It is a stable energy to something that overloads and bursts to an orange, reddish orange kind of peak here. There's a shift here. And this burst is for the data core extraction part. And the other particle effect is this. Here you can see, yeah, I'll show you here. Yeah. So this is a sparkling effect that is a lockdown sparks that runs continuously throughout the escape phase of my game, where the wires are damaged and it sparks out like this. And the smoke above represents that the wires are damaged and the smoke is emitting out. So these are the two effects that I've created. I've visually created this as well. I'll show you this visual creation once. Show you this visual. Sorry, I'll just show you this visual creation that I've created using Gemini here. So this is the effect on the data core vortex. So yeah, this is the visual creation. So this is how I'm planning to design my final game output. Such a burst happens and the data core settles down, and then it goes into the lockdown phase where the lockdown sparks appears like this. So as you've seen, the smoke is here, the sparkles are here, it's bouncing back. So I've given the same structure here. So the sparkles are like bouncing back after hitting the ground in here, and the smoke wisp is visible here. And I've created three materials for the task. So these are the three materials that I've created for the task. One is the so this is the energy particles. So I started by creating these custom particles from scratch. This is for the energy vortex effect. I set the blend mode to additive and shading model to unlit. And all these are the same for all the materials that I've created. And then particular color node feeds into multiply node with a constant of 5. This 5x emissive multiplier is what creates a visible glow and bloom effect. The radial gradient exponential node softens the square particle edges into circular shape. So the same way I've created OpenM spark particle. So you can see it here. I've created the OpenM spark particle. So yeah, so this is the spark particle. So here the difference is that 8x emissive multiplier is given instead of 5x because sparks needs to be appear brighter like white hot metal fragments. So that's why I've given more intense brighter effect for this. And the third material is that you can see I've created the smoke wisp. So yeah, smoke wisp, I've used it like a translucent blending instead of additive because it's a smoke. So it's just a normal smoke that should be in a gray color. So I've given it as an additional effect to my sparkling when the particle effect of sparkling effect is given. I'll give a walkthrough of how I've used these materials in my particle system, right? So you can see I've created the first so a separate folder for particle system, that is for the data core vortex, and then for the lockdown sparks. These are the two. These are the two particle effect that I've created. And yeah, so I've created the data core vortex using the fountain effect in Niagara. So yeah, fountain emitter is already there. So I've tweaked it a little bit. I've edited it a bit to give a fountain, give a like a data vortex effect, so a core burst effect. And for the NS lockdown sparks, I've used empty emitter to give the lockdown sparks. So then, yeah, uh, data core spark, the data core core burst was created, and then an ambient loop was given to the same data core vortex. Here, the core burst is the main part of yeah, the core burst is the main part, and that is what depicts how the data core is retrieved and the burst happens. And the ambient loop is where the cyan effect is still persist, but yeah. So the transition is from a cyan color to orangish red color. Yeah, you can see it here. I've given the properties as a single, yeah, in the properties I've given CPU sim, and emitter state it's just set to loop once. And then the initialized particle is where the main effect takes place, where I've given lifetime and velocity, where the lifetime randomized between 1.5 to 3 seconds, and they don't all vanish at once. And velocity spreads from upward and outward in all directions. Click, then you can see here I've given a curl noise force. So curl noise force strength is at 150 and frequency is up and creates a swirl effect. It just creates a swirl effect so that it bursts out like whenever you take it out. And then the click point attraction force. So here, and this gives a negative push to 50s outwards, then initially spirals out. So yeah, you can see the blast here, right? So it's loading. So you can see the ambient loop is here, and the blast, you can see the cyan effect to the orange effect. Yeah, this is moreover of the um, particle one. Well, you can see this is the color structure I've given for the particle one, from a cyan color to the orangish red color till the end. The gradients are uh, like in a linear way so that it gives a burst effect. Next, we'll check out with the lockdown sparks. Here in the lockdown sparks as well, I've given two emitters. One is for the spark shower, smoke wisp. So yeah, so here in the emergency lockdown spark system, it spawns for 30 particles per second. So the spawn rate I've given 30 particles uh, per second, so that it gives like a continuous spark effect is persist all over the throughout the like the escape phase. And added the velocity, I've added in velocity as well. In the initialized particles, I've added bounce effect. Initialized particles have added bounce effect and randomized the range float so that it has a continuous movement, and it gives a gravity force as well. Yeah, so the gravity force is mentioned here, and the collision uses the bounce effect is given in the collision part of the um, uh, uh, what collision part of the lockdown spark. And yeah, so this is the scale color that I've given for the collision spark. Yeah, this is the scale color that I've given for the collision spark. You can see same, an orangish from the white to orangish red. And yeah, so these are the two particle effect that I've demonstrated and given. And yeah, this is pretty much of it. And you can see I've given as an example, I've downloaded a generated AI image using Gemini to show how my actual final project, I would like to represent it the same way. And for the lockdown sparks, I would like to show it the same way. And I've achieved the same using Niagara as of now. So we'll have to implement it further in my project. And you can see these effects are designed specifically for Chronos 0 and will be integrated as well. So you can see, I'll just show you a demo again. So the vortex will spawn at the data code terminal location on extraction. The spark will activate along the escape corridors when the lockdown begins. So I'll show a demo again. Yeah, see, you can see that. Yeah, so these are the two particle effects that I've created. Thank you.